God of love, whose love shines unceasingly and relentlessly to all, we pray for you for our town. We give you thanks for this happy borough of Telford and Wrekin, and for the way it continues to grow and prosper in all its diversity. We pray for peace on our streets, for economic well-being, for understanding across our differences. Build us as one community, though diverse, that being reconciled to you, we might be reconciled to one another. Turn our hearts to you, that your glory might dwell in this borough. We give thanks afresh for the elected councillors of the Borough Council, for all who are prepared to sacrifice so much of their own lives in the service of others, and for all those who serve the needs of this borough. And we especially thank you for the dedicated work of Councillor Leon Murray, the outgoing mayor, for Barbara, his wife, during this last year. And we commit to your care the incoming Mayor Malcolm Smith and Christine, his wife, his mayoress, during the coming year of office. Lord God, each one is called in turn to make a difference, to bring joy, hope and promise to the citizens whom they serve, and to help provide a sense of purpose and faith in the future. So in all that is done in this council tonight, we pray that you grant wisdom, courage and compassion as all these issues are discussed and decisions made. Teach us all to be salt of the earth, fit for use in your service, to the glory of your name. Amen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to this annual general meeting of the Council of Telford and Wrekin Borough. In particular, I'd like to welcome Lord and Lady Gocock, David Wright MP, and Freeman of the Borough, Lieutenant Colonel Nick Jenkins, representing the Rifle. Welcome to you all, and we hope that you will enjoy yourself in being with us this evening. And I'd call upon Nathan England at the rostrum. Could you stand up, please, ladies and gentlemen?
Colleagues, aware of our responsibilities to promote democracy and the well-being of all local people, on behalf of the Council, I make this recommitment to our office as elected representatives. Elected to serve the public good, we recognise that public office is a privilege granted by the people and not a right. We elected representatives of Telford and Wrekin declare that we will, to the best of our ability, uphold the Council's constitution and serve the community above any private or personal interest. We so affirm.
Please be seated.
Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, we can now move on to the business part of the meeting. Item 3 on the agenda is the election of a new speaker for 2014-15. Are there any nominations, please? Councillor Guy.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to propose Councillor Mike Iron. He's somebody I hold in high intellectual regard, and I think he'll do an excellent job as Speaker in the forthcoming year before the general election and local elections. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there a seconder for Councillor Iron?
I second the proposal.
Thank you, Chris. Are there any other nominations? No? Can't see any further nominations, so I will declare Councillor Mike Iron elected as Speaker. Need to take a vote. Sorry, apparently I need to take a vote, Mike, even though you're the only candidate. All those in favour of Councillor Mike Iron, please show. Any against? Any abstentions? Right, I now declare Councillor Mike Iron elected as Speaker for 2014-15, and I invite him to come and take my place here.
Dave, thank you very much. I am permitted to say a few words, I believe, in protocol. I do find saying a few words quite difficult, so you'll bear with me. There's two things really I want to say. One is very grateful and very privileged to have been elected as Speaker, and I draw your attention to the oath that we have all just collectively undertaken. Elected to serve the public good, we recognise that public office is a privilege granted by the people and not a right. I think holding elected office is a privilege at any level, and I'm very grateful to you. Second thing I want to do is really on your behalf, because protocol doesn't allow us to invite other members to do it, to say thank you to Councillor Dave Davis. These are exceptional circumstances. Really, Dave should be sitting here for a variety of reasons. He has chosen and feels it not right to continue. That is a loss to this authority. Those of you who have known Councillor Davis as long as I have, which is now close to 20 years, will know he is somebody of huge integrity, somebody with a real moral compass, and somebody who takes elected office very seriously and has brought a good deal of dignity to this position. He doesn't want a fuss, he doesn't like a fuss, but I think in these circumstances we deserve at least a round of applause to Councillor. So, moving on, item 4, election of Deputy Speaker. Do we have any nominations for the post of Deputy Speaker? Councillor McClements.
Congratulations on your appointment. I propose Councillor Rob Sloan as Deputy Speaker. Rob is well known across the Chamber, has many years' experience on Telford and Wrekin Council, has carried out the role twice recently. Rob will always bring good humour to all situations and likes a bit of banter. I propose Councillor Rob Sloan.
Thank you very much. Do you have a seconder? Councillor Shirley Reynolds to second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to second Councillor Sloan. Rob has taken the helm on a few occasions recently, and he kept us all in order. And as Rob only retired yesterday, I would hate for him to be bored, so I'd like to see him usefully employed.
Thank you very much. Do we have any further nominations for the post of Deputy Speaker? No. I think we do have to take that to a vote. Thank you very much. All those in favour of the election of Councillor Rob Sloan as Deputy Speaker? Any against? Any abstentions? No. Congratulations on your retirement and being appointed as Deputy Speaker, Councillor Sloan. Item 5, appointment of Mayor for the civic year 2014-2015. Call for nominations for the position of Mayor. Councillor Keith Austin.
Okay, Speaker, can I add my congratulations for your election as our Speaker? I'm sure you'll do an excellent job. Firstly, I'd like to say it's quite a privilege to be in a position to nominate somebody for the Mayor of this authority. And I have to say that Malcolm in particular has been doing mayoral roles and chair roles for so many years. I'm not going to mention how many, but certainly as long as I've known him. And that gives away a lot if I was to go any further than that. But behind every good mayor, I think, is a mayoress. And I think we ought to acknowledge the fact that they do a lot of hard work and sometimes work that they could well do without. Malcolm's got a lot of business connections, and he has always prided himself in looking after business in the borough. Now, I think business in our borough is extremely important and will become increasingly important as we move out, hopefully, of this almost interminable depression of a recession that we've had. And that needs to end, I think, for our country to get back where it should be, and that's at the top of the list. I'm sure Malcolm will do a lot in that regard on a local level. He's got connections in so many places. I'm not going to get involved, because if I start going into that, people might get offended that I have questioned them and nobody else. He's done it before. In fact, he's done it several times before. So he can't use the excuse, well, I didn't know what it was or anything like that. He certainly will, I'm sure, do an excellent job of the office of Mayor of the Borough of Telford and Wrekin, and I have a great pleasure in moving him for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. And do we have a seconder for the proposal?
Yes, I'd like to second that.
Councillor Liz Clare, thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
Oh,
I don't need it really. Can I say it's a great pleasure, and it's a bit like deja vu, isn't it? We've been here before, but you find a good team and you use them. And to be fair, anybody that's mayor and has got a good woman behind them, we effectively use them. I was asked to say some nice things. I'll say the nice things about Christine. I think what a lot of us don't appreciate, unless we've actually done the job, is that it's the wife that worries whether the suit's been got ready and cleaned, whether the tie is right, whether the shirt is right, whether they've got to have a meal before they go or whatever. And it's the wife that does a lot of worrying. With Christine, she does the worrying, and then she's there by his side doing her job as well. It's perhaps a lot don't know, it's Malcolm is the father of the house, so again it's appropriate that he should actually be the mayor this year. Together with that, and the nice thing, I don't know whether it's nice or not, it's his birthday today. He doesn't expect everybody to buy him a drink. The drink should be on him if it's his birthday. But truthfully, I have great pleasure in seconding this. They've always done a good job, and I have no doubt that they'll do a good job again this year.
yes, thank you very much indeed. Do we have any further nominations for the position of Mayor for 2014-2015? No. We have to put this to a vote. So all those in favour for the election of Councillor Malcolm Smith to the position of Mayor for 2014-2015? Thank you. Any against? Any abstentions? One abstention, I think. Well, I have the pleasure in declaring Councillor Malcolm Smith elected as Mayor, and we'll invite him and Christine to come forward and take up their year in office. Thank you. Well, again, congratulations to Councillor Smith and Christine. We move to item 6, appointment of Deputy Mayor for 2014-2015, and call for nominations for the position of Deputy Mayor. Councillor Hilda Rhodes.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to propose Councillor Amrit Singh Jawar for Deputy Mayor. I have known Amrit for quite a while. He has lived in Ketley since 1981 and in Telford since 1969. He has a grown-up family who all studied in Telford before going on to universities. He is a proud grandfather of 4. Amrit worked at Sankey's for 11 years. He retired from the Royal Mail in March 2013 after 33 years of service, 25 of which he was a manager in the Telford, Newport and Shrewsbury offices. For the last 3.5 years, it's been a pleasure working with him as a colleague in the community of Ketley and Oaken Gates. He is a hard worker. He gets involved, always eager to try to sort out any problems, very dedicated. He certainly makes himself known in the community. Every Sunday, you will see him on his walkabout, reporting any potholes, fly tipping, etc. Using our community fund, we have worked together to address issues which have greatly benefited the community. I'm also impressed to find out he's an avid darts player, having played in every pub in Telford. But of course his home is in the Wren's Nest in Ketley. So if you fancy your chances at darts, I'm sure he will give you a good game. I regard Amrit as a perfect gentleman, very well respected in the community. I am sure he will be a great asset to the Mayor. He is reliable, caring, and in the position of Deputy Mayor, he will conduct himself with dignity and do a wonderful job representing the borough of Telford and Wrekin. I so move.
Thank you very much, Hilda. Do we have a seconder for the proposal, please? Councillor Derek White.
Thank you. The trouble with following up somebody like Hilda, she gives you a complete biography and there's very little left to say. I have been told, however, when you talk about the Wren's Nest, that he actually bought his house so he could actually stumble out of one place into the other. And quite often he forgets which one is which. However, I haven't known Amrit nearly as long as Hilda, but what I have seen is that he is a good worker. And if you ever go out canvassing with him, your little legs are getting walked off before you go even half a mile. He really is a grafter. And he's put that into the work as a ward member. And his family, he's very much a family man, and he's devoted to that family. And despite the tragedy earlier on, he still carried on as though no one else knew about that. And it's that type of devotion, that type of work, and that commitment that he's given to Telford and the Wrekin over the last God knows how many years that will make him admirable and excellent in the job. And I have no hesitation in seconding that appointment.
Derek, thank you very much. Do we have any other nominations for the position of Deputy Mayor? No? Well, again, members, we have to put this to a vote. All those in favour for Councillor Amrit Jawar as Deputy Mayor for 2014-2015? Any against? And any abstentions? No. Well, Amrit, I'm delighted to say welcome, and you are officially now Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Telford and Wrekin. Congratulations. Members and guests, that's a little bit of looking forward. We need to really do a tiny bit of looking back now, and we move to item 7, vote of thanks to the retiring Mayor and Mayoress, and I call upon Councillor Sean Davis to move a vote of thanks to Councillor Leon and Mrs Barbara Murray. Councillor Davis.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It is with great pleasure that I propose a vote of thanks to our outgoing Mayor and Mayoress, Leon and Barbara. In the same way that Leon has not wasted a moment since coming to the UK 53 years ago, he has not wasted a moment since being elected to this authority 3 years ago, having served as Deputy Mayor and, of course, over the last 12 months as our Mayor. And a Mayor with dignity, commitment and passion. He has not wasted a moment in promoting his chosen charities, this borough, its people and its businesses. He has attended hundreds of events with his characteristic smile and sense of humour, with Barbara by his side each step of the way. He's brought gravity to the role of Mayor, having held posts including the Deputy Lieutenant of Shropshire, the Chair of the Justice Panel, and being made a MBE by Her Majesty the Queen. Despite all the awards, the posts that and also the posts that he's held, he's always put the people of Hadley and Montgomery and the residents of Telford and Wrekin first, ensuring questions, issues or concerns expressed to him are fed back to the Cabinet and our council officers. And of course, he's chased them when he's not had the answer that he needs. He has also seen a few things over the last 12 months, including, as those who attended the mayoral ball will know, our MP's David Wright's underwear. Mr Speaker, sometimes the smiling man can be the smiling assassin, and indeed, in Leon's case, it was with rum. Having attended the mayoral charity, he told me, whilst passing me a glass of rum, that the drink would epitomise the evening in a glass. By the end of the night, Mr Speaker, I thought I could do reggae. Mr Speaker, Leon and Barbara have given thousands of hours over the years to groups, charities, churches and this council. I know that they will both continue in that in the future. A model gentleman who certainly epitomises the best of Britain. I formally propose the vote of thanks.
Councillor Davis, thank you. And do we have a second? I think Councillor Paul Watling.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It's a pleasure to second this vote of thanks to Councillor Leon Murray and his Mayoress Barbara. As already noted, Leon has been an active member of his community all his adult life. An incredible amount of his time has been taken up with fundraising for those less fortunate than himself. I was recently with Leon at an event at the Mine Centre at Sutton Hill. It was an event, it wasn't an official event from the Mayor, it was an event that Leon was doing in his already crowded diary because he believes so much in that cause. Even in a year when his and Barbara's diaries have been so full with their official duties, these are both committed community champions. We've spent several nights together in this very theatre watching the talented youth of Telford, who Leon has consistently praised and promoted in his role as Mayor. And it's also a credit to Leon's incredible networking skills that he's raised so much for his chosen charities, the Seven Hospice in Telford and Wellington Cottage Care Trust. I could not think of a more effective and powerful set of advocates for our town than Leon and Barbara, and the values they promote of hard work, self-reliance and the power of the possible. Mr Speaker, I'd like to second this vote of thanks.
Thank you very much. Members, invite other colleagues, elected members, who may want to contribute to the vote of thanks. Is there anybody else? Councillor Carter.
Thank you. I'd like just to say a few words because it's been my privilege to work quite closely with Leon and the effort he put into supporting the Shrewsbury and Newport Canal Trust, which was extremely well appreciated, and the way he managed to find funds from one of the bodies that he's associated with in the work at Wappinghill. And that, I think, will be well thought of in the future. It's certainly well thought of by all the members of that trust. And Leon and I have worked together on that, and I hope he will, even if he's stood down now, keep in touch with that body, and he'll always be welcome. So I'd like to just say thank him for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Carter. Councillor Keith Austin.
Thank you, Speaker. Leon is a ward colleague of mine along with Malcolm, so it'd be very remiss of me not to say a few words of thanks to him for the effort that he's put in and the effort that he's put into doing particular things in and around Adley. People have appreciated that, and his particular effort on Haybridge shopping area was absolutely amazing. He got his teeth into it. He wouldn't take them out at all until it was sorted, and he did get it sorted, and I have to say it was an extremely difficult one to deal with, but that was very well done, Leon. But I'd like to thank you and your Lady Mayoress for the amount of effort you've both put in. It's been a huge call on your time, and I think that is to the betterment of us all. And I just, having worked with you in other areas, which I won't go into right now, I know that you're very capable of delivering a good service all round to everybody. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Keith. Councillor Veronica Fletcher.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to add my congratulations on a wonderful year that you've both had. As a committed Christian, I have been at many functions where Leon and Barbara have been, and we know that those occasions have been very well attended, they've been very spiritual, and they've also been for the service of the community. And that is what you've done all the year, and I know how many hours you must have put into your workload, because I, from experience, 70 hours some weeks, so I do know how hard you've worked and what commitment you've both given. So thank you so much for what you've done and for your two given charities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Veronica. Councillor Andrew Eade.
Thank you, Speaker. Can I first of all congratulate you on your appointment, and I hope we do what we can to give you a difficult year, of course, or a very challenging one anyway. I'd also like to pay tribute, if I can, if you'll bear with me for a second, to Dave, Dave Davis as well. I was very pleased to see Dave here. I've known Dave for a long, long time as fellow Telford United supporter, and we go back a long way. And I thought Dave did it. I mean, he brought a good bit of gravity and brevity to it, but there's a good deal of humour with Dave. I think Dave enjoyed it in many ways, and that's what I think is the secret to the job, is to enjoy it. If I can offer you some advice, the same as Dave did, and take it all within the spirit, of course, that it's given. And I have to say, I thought Dave did that very well, and I'm sure that you will follow in his footsteps as well. As for the position of mayor, well, that's a job I couldn't do, and I wouldn't want to do. How or why people do it is a bit of a mystery to me, to be quite honest, because it must be like being on a treadmill from morning to night, 7 or even 8 days a week, to go through and represent the borough at that sort of level and that sort of frequency as well. And I think you've done it extremely well. Somebody made a comment, I think it was Liz earlier on, about the Lady Mayoress. Well, I think behind every successful mayor is an astonished Lady Mayoress, to be quite honest, managing to get their partner out in time like that, looking correctly, neat, tidy, scrub behind the ears and everything else. I think a good deal of credit is due in that direction as well. I've worked with Leon. We're working on a very difficult immigration case together at the moment, and I have to say that it has been a pleasure working with Leon. I've got a lot of time for Leon, and I personally would like to congratulate you, Leon, on your year in office. Well done.
Andrew, thank you very much. Councillor Derek White. Then we'll draw it to a close, I think.
I've been a number of times up Sutton Hill with Leon, and he's done an excellent job. But really, it's in another role that he carries out, and that is as chairman of Mind that I would like to thank him. He has, in a time when there's been a huge pressure, and never has there been more time for organisations like Mind, and never has there been a time when there's been so little resources, has completely, with the management and the staff there, completely reorganised Mind and made it a real centre of our community, with new facilities in there, a new drive, and a new place in the heart of Sutton Hill. And I'd like to say thank you very much to you and all the staff.
Thank you very much, Councillor White. We need to formally put this to a vote, and what we're saying, Barbara and Leon, is a collective thank you on everybody's behalf for the enormous effort and the dignity you've brought to this office, and we're very grateful to you, and invite members to vote on that proposition in terms of a vote of thanks for the retiring Mayor and Mayoress. All those in favour? And that's unanimous. Congratulations, thank you very much. And I'll call upon the Managing Director, who's going to make a small presentation to the outgoing Mayor and Mayoress. Item 8 is the reply to the vote of thanks. If I can offer some advice, which I'm pretty sure you're going to ignore, but it's worth it. Some of you may know that Leon is a Methodist lay preacher, and a short reply to the vote of thanks would be very welcome. But it's entirely over to you, Leo.
Well, I can assure you, although I'm a Methodist lay preacher, I'm not a long-winded one. I would like to say a huge thank you to all my fellow councillors who gave me great support during the past 12 months, and also for the privilege, given me the privilege last year to serve the Borough of Telford and Wrekin as Mayor. Both the Mayoress and myself are very grateful for your support and for the privilege of doing that. We enjoyed ourselves in part. At times we're very tired, but thank you very much for that. And I'd like to say many thanks to Malcolm and Christine for the support which you both have given to us in the past 12 months. In supporting us in many ways. And to all my friends and family who have supported us. Many of my friends are over there in the audience over there who have supported me and Barbara during the past 12 months. I must say that without Barbara and my two daughters and other friends and family, we could not have done it. My two daughters said, "Go for it, Dad." That was their advice when I said they want to make me mayor. And I said, I don't know why, because I've only been on the council for 5 minutes. And they both said, "Go for it, Dad." So we went for it. And thank you very much for the privilege in doing so. I also want to say a grateful thanks to the public out there, to Joe public, who have welcomed us in so many different ways. They have welcomed us, they have supported us, and I want to say especially to the young people and children in our schools and colleges. We have been to many educational places and meet the young people, and they are a delight to meet. And they have welcomed us, and it shows in our borough. We have got some wonderful education facilities, the University of Wolverhampton, Harper Adams University, and to all our schools. And the young people in these schools and education department are wonderful young people. And they are interested in politics. They are interested in our civic life, and it's for us to nourish that interest and to help them to grow and to take their place in our community. Because let's face it, quite a few of us are getting to the stage where we are getting to pass our sell-by date in a sense. So we need those young people to come up. And a big thank you to the staff and members of the council. During my 12 months, first we went and saw every offices in the borough. We went and sit down on the desk of cups of tea and meet the staff of our borough who does such a wonderful job. And so to all the staff and officers, thank you all very much for the wonderful job you've done for us. And I would like to say again a special thanks to a lot of people, but time is running out. And we have a presentation to Barbara, my wife. Would Barbara please come round, please? Thank you very much. I don't know what it is, but and just a quick one to say about my charity. I'd chosen two charity, Wellington Cottage Care, which I am one of the founder members of the original Cottage Care, and the Seven Hospice, which I'm involved with, and it's two local charity. And I just want to say thanks to the many people who have put on concert, race night, garden parties, and so many other things to support the charity. And there are some institutions which have supported our charity, and there are many individuals in here which have supported that charity. And I can tell you that the sum raised to date is around £16,000. And as you know, these two organizations get no public fund. They depend on you and I and the public out there. And I must say, the public are extremely generous even in hard times. And my friends over there and many of my family from London, Manchester, and friends from the world and Birmingham have all supported me in the charity. And thank you all very much. Now I'll finish by saying a big thank you to one person I haven't mentioned yet, and that is Emma. Emma, I've got the very difficult job of supporting and looking after 54 of us as politicians. And she's done a wonderful job. And on top of all of that, make sure that the mayor and mayors and deputy mayor and the mayors are, everything is in shed rule. And she's done a wonderful job. And would Emma please come? Thank you all very much. Thank you. And we're going on holiday on Sunday.
Move to some of the business items of the meeting. Item 9, apologies for absence.
Apologies from Councillor Mackenzie, Councillor Karen Tomlinson and Bill Tomlinson, unless there's any further apologies from the floor, Speaker. Councillor Elliott. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 10, declarations of interest.
None received.
Item 11, minutes of the council meeting held on the 1st of May 2014. And I think Councillor Kuldip Sahota is proposing, is that right?
I'd like to move them, yes.
And seconded by?
Yeah, I'll second them, Mike.
Okay. All those in favour? Thank you. That's taken. We move to announcements. Just whilst Councillor Malcolm Smith gets to the lectern for guests, this is an opportunity for the newly elected Mayor, Councillor Malcolm Smith, who's going to address us, followed by the leader of the council, Councillor Kuldip Sahota. So, our new Mayor, Councillor Malcolm Smith.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, honoured guests, and my fellow members. To my fellow members, thank you very much for putting this work on me again. I say that because most of the members know that I said, well, I'm not going to stand for the Mayor. I've already done it 4 times. And as far as I was concerned, I was going to go for another post within the council. And then, surprise, surprise, the leader of the council turned up. And so, if I make a mistake during this year, it's his fault, not mine. Today, as I said earlier on, is my birthday, but it's also next week, 44 years since I was first elected to the council. And things have certainly changed over those years. It takes a lot of thinking to decide what our name is, because it has changed that many times that even I have to think when I go out and they say, oh, where are you Deputy Mayor of? And I think, what are we calling ourselves at the moment? You know, it's one of those things. But there's one thing that people do know, and that's Telford. We are well known throughout the West Midlands, and we're well known throughout the UK. And can I also say that the former President of Tunisia and the Mayor of the island of Rhodes very much knows who we are. So we have this international reputation. In looking at the tradition of having a Mayor's appeal, of course, quite naturally, I was inundated with organisations, national and local, to be considered for my Mayor's appeal. And it does become a very difficult and onerous task to say to one, yes, I'll put you on the short list, but I'm sorry, I can't put you onto it. And this went on over a period of months. And then I had the occasion to go on a civic duty to my natural home, which was St George's. And I went to St George's Club, not for a drink, for a function. And I was talking to some people there, and they said, Malcolm, what's your appeal going to be? I said, well, I don't know. I haven't made my mind up yet. There's so many organisations. And she said, would you consider us? And I'm pleased to say that tonight, having considered all these different organisations, that my appeal for the coming year will be for, and I keep it local as you all know, for Telford and Wrekin Arthritis Support Group. I've been humbled in some ways when you see the effect, particularly that arthritis has on the body, and at the moment there's no real cure for it. So hopefully, I'm not looking for a cure, although it'd be lovely to be able to have one. I'm looking to help them, and this is why tonight it's being announced to you. Now, we shan't be formally launching it until September. It's unfortunate, but because we've had so many things on in between, and it's no good trying to do it in August, because even members disappear off on holiday. So I said, well, the only thing we can do is to do it before I go on holiday. So as I go on holiday on the 17th of September, the week prior to it, we will formally launch my appeal. And I'm going to ask, because I will be writing to other people who've supported me, that members dig deep in your pockets. You do get a member's allowance, don't forget. And some of us can use it wisely. I'm not saying you don't use it wisely, but we use it wisely for a worthwhile charity. So I look forward to seeing as many of you when we have functions for fundraising. Traditionally, it's always been a poor turnout from members, Mr. Speaker. I don't know why, but they do. Perhaps it's because we see each other so often that we think, oh, we haven't got to keep turning up and being with each other. But that is my appeal. Once again, thank you very much for doing me the honour of electing me as your mayor. And at the completion of the meeting, I hope you will stop for some light refreshments, and those who do feel a burning desire to buy me a pint. Thank you.
Malcolm, thank you. And Councillor Kuldip Sahota, leader of Telford and Wrekin Borough Council.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies, gentlemen, mayors, mayoresses, consuls, councillors, High Sheriff Robert Bland, Lord and Lady Grocott, David Wright, MP, Freeman of the Borough, Lieutenant Colonel Nick Jenkins of the Rifles. Thank you and welcome. Mr. Speaker, what I have to say takes about 6 minutes, and this is about the bread and butter of the council. When residents put their trust in us in 2011, this was against the backdrop of the most devastating and unprecedented cuts to local government in modern history by the current government. From 2010 to 2016, we would have made cuts something like £75 million, and that's a lot of money. And just to put this in a context, this equates to 2 years of adult social care budget. This is how much the cuts we have to make. It has been tough and challenging, to say the least. However, this administration rose to that challenge, and Telford and Wrekin has become a success story. Despite government cuts, the last 3 years have shown that this administration achieved great things, even in the toughest of the times. Our reputation locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally has grown as a place to do business and to invest in. Latest figure from the Office of National Statistics shows that our local economy has grown by 3.7%, almost double the West Midlands. The council has developed and secured the necessary planning permission, which we hope will give Telford the opportunity to become defence gateway for the MOD logistic operation. If this bid is successful, it will protect and create thousands of jobs for the local people. Growth will be key to our financial survival and future, which will help secure jobs for our younger people and help fund key services for the future as well. Services such as care for the elderly and care for the children in the council, looked after children. Despite government cuts, we continue to regenerate our district centres. Last year, we have seen a continued improvement in Sutton Hill and Brookside. First phase of Headley's regeneration has completed and the phase 2 has begun. We have started a plan to regenerate Hollingwood Centre. Our secondary schools are being transformed. This year, Phoenix Academy has opened with fabulous community facilities, while the new Arklewood Technology College is set to open in September. The plans are being made swiftly for a new school at Prisley, Lakeside, and a new Charlton School on BRJ site by 2016. All will provide excellent education and community facilities, with the borough having one of the most comprehensive building school for the future program in the country, investing a total of £200 million in the communities. We are also continue to invest in the other much valued facilities for the residents. For example, Newport swimming pool and leisure centre, a new library at Dolly, and of course, tackling land instability and Iron Bridge, our most important visitor attraction. In just over a week, this is the South Water I'm coming up to now. In just over a week, people will, for the first time, be able to walk around the site. There is no doubt the South Water will become a major regional attraction and is already making a very important contribution to the borough's economy, bringing hundreds of jobs. And look what we have to offer there. We have an ice rink, adventure golf, high rope course, bars, restaurant, IMAX theatre, hotel, bowling, and so on and so forth. All next to one of the UK's biggest conference venue. And this is just a first phase of the £200 million development in the town centre. Work will begin this year on Telford Shopping Centre's £200 million expansion, further underlining the opportunities and the confidence in our borough, and work we are undertaking to transform the Box Road from a one-way racetrack into something that has much more of a high street feel and will further enhance Telford's appeal. Telford Loyalty Card, the TLC card, has been an unbelievable success for Telford, with 62,500 cards registered, and that's a third of the borough's population, with 236 businesses offering cardholders discount and including Telford and Wrekin leisure centres. This will be developed in the coming year into TLC Zone and TLC app. Youth unemployment. Youth unemployment is too high across the borough, and that's why we are investing £1.3 million to address this issue by working with our partners and business community to tackle this problem together. Over the coming months, we will be ensuring that our services under the Job Box banner work as hard as possible to change this and give our residents, and in particular the young people, the skill and the opportunity to make their future here. Last March, we held the biggest job fair ever in Telford, which attracted over 4,000 people at the International Centre to meet local businesses, many with real job offers. We are already planning another job fair next March with new initiatives such as Job Box Mentors, offering people one-to-one advice and support. Yes, we have made much progress, but we also have much more to do. This year, we have launched our £13.6 million Pride in the Community programme. This will make a real difference to the local environment across the borough and in the communities. Next week, we are launching our £1 million Community Pride Fund for the local groups to bid for the funding to help regenerate buildings and equipment, to give a real boost to community facilities. Pride will also tackle much needed regeneration scheme in Hollingswood, with further community involvement help us develop further schemes for areas including Donington and Sutton Hill. Finally, I'm coming up to my 6 minutes now. Finally, to cap it, only last week, Telford was listed in the top 10 happiest place to live in the UK. Just weeks after our football team, AFC Telford United, were promoted to the conference that was a couple of weeks ago. Mr. Speaker, our communities are saying it, the business are saying it, investors are saying it, and I can absolutely confirm it. Telford is on the up. Thank you.
Councillor Eade to respond.
Oh, thank you very much, Speaker. I would like to make a few points around what the leaders actually said. And I'd like to start off by thanking him, actually, thanking him very much for continuing with quite a number of the projects that we actually put in place and we started. The prime one of that, of course, was Southwater, where we sold the civic offices, we stacked up the finances, and we actually started the building there. And it was after a period when the council had spent 1.1 million and it had fallen to pieces. Now, you're right, it is a critical and vital thing that we should be doing there to make Telford a regional attraction and a centre for business. What I was disappointed to hear, and this is a key issue, and I'm offering this as perhaps a bit of advice really, and that is our industrial estates. I was disappointed to note that you didn't mention those. Those are key for business in the future. They're very tired, they were put in place by the Development Corporation, and they need a good deal of investment. Now, I've seen nothing yet in the council's budget, or indeed what you've had to say to do that, but that is key to attracting and keeping business in this area here. Now, Hadley, Sutton Hill, Hollingswood, thank you for continuing with those. They are important. We started, as you know, the Borough Towns initiative, where we spread it right across the borough. The schools are building schools for the future, absolutely essential to this borough, and that was a key issue for us. We were one of the handful of authorities that kept that funding, and it was down to the direct work that we did with Michael Gove before, during and after the general election that time that kept it in place. As for the Phoenix, you mentioned, and it's a great school, and it's good to see that as a new school. If you remember, and I'm sure you do, that was down for refurbishment. We actually changed that. We built the new school there in Dorley. What worries me in all this with the new schools and the way that you've altered BSF, we've actually taken 400 secondary places out of the system at a time when we all know the scale and level of house building that is going on right across the borough, and in Wellington in particular. There was a huge development approved there a short while ago. We need to know and be very clear how you're going to address that key issue. There are falling availability in school places, more houses being built. That is a time bomb that's ticking. And again, it's something that that you didn't mention there. The Box Road, well, you'll excuse me, I can't congratulate you on that because we refused to let it go ahead. I think it's the wrong thing to do, and I think it's a mess that's many people in the borough will agree with on that. As for Pride, well, there's a difference, and it's a choice, and you're quite right. In administration, you make choices. The choice I didn't like with putting it into Pride, with dealing with what are very good and laudable things to do, certainly hedges, pavements, community groups, but not, and I stress this, not when you're taking £10.5 million out of adult social care. That cannot be right. That cannot be right. Now, I accept some of that there may be genuine savings to be made, and you should make them. But it really is a balance, and you need to think that through a bit more. As for £75 million cuts, well, I tell you what, it begs the question, doesn't it? What on earth were we doing as a local authority before? If we had, without cutting virtually many services or any appreciable services, that we had £75 million a year to spend as an authority. That's why we took out nearly £12 million before the credit crunch, because we wanted to invest in the borough. But I think there's a genuine failing there right across local authorities. I know times are tough now, and there has to be a point where you say no more. But I'd like everybody to just reflect on that. £75 million a year that we presided over as a council, we could have spent elsewhere. Anyway, I do wish you well. I know it's a very difficult job, a very demanding job, and it's like riding a bucking bronco at times. But I do urge you to think around some of those key issues, because I earnestly believe, it's in the political point, that you do have this very, very wrong at the moment. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Item 13, appointment to Cabinet, which is in your papers Appendix B. Councillor Sahota to notify the appointment of the Cabinet as per the
Cabinet,
schedule.
and it's in Appendix B, is it? And I notify everyone on that, okay?
Okay, thank you. Item 14, appointment to committees and boards. Call on Councillor Sahota to nominate members on council bodies as per the list, which I think is Appendix C.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we have a second for that?
I moved them as well, yeah.
Okay.
The name A England for Appeals Committee, should that not be N?
Yeah. Okay. We can deal with amendments afterwards, but thank you for noting it, Councillor Ainley. Okay. We need to put item 14, appointment to committees, to the vote. So all those in favour? Any against? Any abstentions? That's carried. Item 14. Item 15, which is for noting, which is the programme of ordinary meetings of the Council for this coming year. Just ask members to note that. Which brings us towards the end of this meeting. There are going to be some refreshments which are served at the end, and it really invites all members and guests to stay for that, and it will take some time to sort the room and clear it. Can I thank all elected members for their attendance this evening. Our many guests, it's great to see so many people here. Thank you for your patience. And if you are staying, hopefully we'll see you all later, and if you're not staying, have a safe journey home. If you could remain seated whilst the Civic Party now leaves the auditorium, I'd be grateful. Thank you.